Nice, 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 nice. Gotta have it. Yeah, that's I don't know. That's tremendous defense by the Jets, letting Hines like run around like he's Pac-Man. Man, I don't know. I thought they were going to be a little bit better against the run. Obviously, it's still early, but like Jesus Christ, like ooh, this pass there. Yeah, I can hear you just fine. hmm I mean, you could have
There we go.
completed that pass. It was so wide open.
Now people can hopefully hear me. Not that they need to, but
Oh, wide open. Elijah Moore touchdown.
see,
Holy shit.
this is the disadvantage of streaming your television, which I'm doing because I still have them at the line of scrimmage. Snap taken. White. Oh my god.
Dude, like Jesus.
Yeah, yeah. The overs.
That's a break. That's a breakdown in the secondary.
Yeah.
Stupid zone down here. Like Jesus. Play man right there.
Colts.
Xavier Rhodes. He's old and slow, man. He's burnt toast.
Colts pass defense is not not ideal.
No, I understand that, but like play technique there. You can only run so you can only go so far.
Yeah. All right. Week 9. This is a fucking chaos week, dude. I
Yeah, a
mean,
little bit.
it basically was today the first day without any drama. I mean, you got. It feels like the Derrick Henry injury was like a year ago at this point now.
I know.
Um,
It's been wild, man.
yeah.
So much stupid shit. These
Yes.
guys, man. I can't. I don't even want to get into it. It's just you know, it's stupid.
What? What's stupid?
The I'm referring to the Ruggs thing
Oh God, yeah. I didn't even
about
get.
what a chaotic week it's been, and then these guys are starting to come out with these stupid comments about like,
Yeah. No. Just shut up.
it's idiotic. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's idiotic.
And Carr trying to be all like perfect, like, oh, I'm gonna be there for him and all that. Dude, shut up. Shut the fuck up. Like, just no. He did a garbage human thing. He's gonna pay for it the rest of his life. Yeah, he needs somebody to love him. He'll have somebody to love him in prison. I mean, that's
The people trying to condone it sound like jackasses.
yeah.
Like,
Dude, come on, it's just bad. I mean, he didn't make one bad decision. He like made like 5 bad decisions altogether. So
yeah, yeah. I,
fuck off.
I
But
don't get it. I don't
yeah,
understand.
but I mean, from Henry to Jameis to that, then you got Rogers, which I think is fucking hilarious. The fact that he's like, yeah, I'm immunized, and now the league's like, oh my god, do we suspend him or not? Well, they won't suspend him. Do we find the team? Do we take draft picks away? Which, of course, me being a Saints
Ah,
fan, I'm like, hey, you did it to us, you better do it to them. But I just, I kind of like the chaos in some aspect, but holy fuck, it kind of, I think it's turned the whole week upside down. Um,
yeah. Everything's insane now
no, dude,
from like a DFS standpoint.
yeah, and then we got Tyrod Taylor's back.
Yay.
You laugh. I'm telling you, that game, that game is gonna shoot to the moon, and it's gonna win the
Oh no,
Millie
I
Maker.
like that game.
That game
I
is
think that's a
winning the
good.
Millie Maker,
I think there's a couple good games. I think that's
Yep.
one of them for sure.
dude.
You know,
Here's the
some bad teams.
here's the fucking
Oh,
roulette,
really?
the roulette for the week. Can you
hmm
make a claim on which Texans receiver is catching 2 touchdowns? Because
I
it's
mean,
happening.
considering that Cooks gets fucking 99.9% of the targets, I would say Cooks.
It won't be Cooks. That's the thing,
Would
though.
you? Would you?
It's too obvious.
Uh,
I'm
I
just,
don't
I
know,
mean,
man.
it's a garbage game from a football standpoint, obviously, but I
Oh
just
yeah,
think
of course.
I think you got the Dolphins who've completely mailed in this season. They had their one, okay, we can't let Buffalo thump us again spot last week, and
Yeah.
I mean every time I watch Xavier Howard, I mean he played okay last week, but like dude just doesn't care anymore. Like he's like screw this, I'm not going to make a bad business decision and get hurt, and it's going to have good weather. I don't know. You're not going to play it on a main lineup or anything like that, obviously, outside of maybe Gasecki. But
I don't
just
know, man. I think some people are going to play Tua. I think the people that don't play Jordan Love are going to play Tua. But, we can get into it. We
well,
can
you know
start
what?
whenever
So we can jump into quarterback first. Like you said,
Cool.
you brought up the obvious one, Jordan Love, who I think at 4,400 on DK, yeah, he's not going to kill you. But you got a scenario where I think most people are not going to pay a quarterback this week.
It depends. Depends where you're looking.
All right, go ahead.
Like-
Give me let's jump into the Packers.
Miller,
First.
yeah.
What's your take on the Packers spot?
I was right there.
You want to talk about the Packers? Or you want to talk about quarterbacks in general?
Now let's start with the Jordan Love take. Let's knock him out of the way first.
Well, I think it's just the square chalk and cash. I mean, right? 4,400 for a quarterback against arguably the worst pass defense in football, and he's going to have Devontae Adams. The game plan is going to be get Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones the ball one way or another. I mean, 4,400 on DK, right? Like,
Yeah.
do you disagree? Do you not think he's like the chalk play?
Oh,
in cash?
absolutely. Well, absolutely, he'll be the highest owned player. I think he's even going to be chalky in tournaments too for decent reason. I mean, because cheap quarterbacks, people have always kind of liked them. And you just hit on, I think, what is the key to this game. Does Jordan Love basically come out and say, okay, I'm going to throw the ball to Devontae Adams because I won't get made fun of for throwing the ball to Devontae Adams over and over against the Chiefs defense. Now, you
Right.
would hope that the Chiefs would realize this and say, okay, we're going to lock that down. But
I just don't know if they have the personnel to do it.
I don't know that they're the personnel to do it either. So let's put it this way. The quarterback this week, Jordan Love shouldn't kill you in that if he gets above 10 points, you're good, in my opinion. There are two quarterbacks I have that I think have that 30 potential this week, and you're like, okay, maybe I should have went them. But
Yeah.
if he gets above 10, you're okay. If it gets below 10, it's a shit play. If he gets above 10, then you're talking. But I don't see how you don't give a lot of consideration to what we just said about Adams and Jones, obviously, in that, hey, you're the Packers. You're down your best player in Rodgers. Okay, let's go to our next best player. Go to Adams. Go to Jones, right? You've got a full week's rest as well. Adams has had a week and a half weeks rest, right? I mean, there's no reason why one of those two guys shouldn't. I mean, you tell me if Jordan Love drops back and completes 10 passes to Devontae Adams, how is Devontae Adams on your lineup this week?
Well,
That's where I'm at with this game.
Well, you could play both of them.
Oh, I know,
You could
I
do-
know. But I'm saying it's. I guess it's. You don't play. Don't worry about the Love aspect. Think about, okay, how do I make sure that if Love does do well, well, then obviously that correlates into what, and if he doesn't do well, then that correlates into Aaron Jones probably had a really good day. That's kind of the point that I'm
Yeah.
driving home. So
You make sense. So before the Rodgers news, Lamar Jackson, I think, was the
Yeah.
clear-cut chalk,
agreed.
and he was like it. Now you kind of like have to decide in cash between the two. And the path to building a cash is either are you paying up at running back and receiver and taking the value of Love, or are you finding value at running back and or receiver, pay for the higher floor of Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, well, I mean, and you know how I think about things when I talk about like playing cash all this stuff. I'm like, all right, what am I playing on my main lineup? Plus, if I'm playing cash, I'm playing cash on FanDuel.
Yep.
But I think you're spot on Lamar. So I said there were two 30-point guys. Lamar's one of them.
Hmm.
He's probably 1A of the two because I mean that's a game that I really like a lot, and I agree Lamar should be. You know what's interesting there? That's the fourth straight home game for Baltimore. Fourth straight
Yeah.
home game with a bye in
With a
between.
buy in there. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they're coming off a loss in their previous home game. I don't see how Baltimore loses, but I do really like something on the Viking side in that game. But yeah, Lamar is the other one. The other guy that I like to pay up uh, that could have a really good game. No, it's not Josh Allen, who is obviously extremely pricey. It's
Hmm.
Justin Herbert, who kind of disappointed last week against the Patriots. Now they come across the East Coast to Philly. It's a 4 o'clock game, which I like even more. You
Hmm.
know, going west to east, and he's got obviously two really good receivers, but the two guys that Philly shouldn't be able to defend are Mike Williams and Jared Cook. So
Right.
Justin Herbert to me, you talk about like cash above. I don't see how Justin Herbert doesn't get you a 20. Might not get you the 30, but I don't see how he doesn't get you 20. And you can make
Uh,
us go ahead.
no, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say
I was going to
you can
attack
make.
that, but
I was just gonna say you can make a strong case that if I'm saying, hey, this guy's gonna get you 20 points, just play him and don't worry about the whole Jordan Love thing. Play Jordan Love if, and I think this is kind of what you were getting at. If you're playing Jordan Love, well then take the money that you saved off of him and just go ahead and play Adams as well. Get the
yeah.
combo for what 13,000 or whatever it's going to be, as opposed to so Love and Adams is going to cost you more than Herbert and Williams
Hmm.
for comparison. So
Yes.
I
Yeah.
take you don't like
But
Herbert though.
there's I don't mind Herbert. I'm just worried that he gets scripted out of this game because Philly sucks. I think I I think the Chargers are gonna come here with they've been you know they had a disappointing effort last week. They haven't been that team that we saw earlier in the year. I just think that they're gonna come here and beat the shit out of the Eagles, which that could be Herbert getting a ton of points, or that could be Eckler running all over them. Like, I mean, you don't typically worry about the quarterback not scoring fantasy points if the team is going to put up 30 points,
Exactly.
right?
That's kind of yeah. That
So,
would be my thinking.
so, so, I mean, if if you're getting 30 points from the Chargers, which I think like I said, I think they're going to beat the hell out of the Eagles. Then Herbert's going to be involved there. So I don't dislike the Herbert play.
Yeah, and
I just love the Lamar Jackson like for $300 more the rushing upside in a game that's going to shoot out and a game that I think is going to be closer than the Chargers Eagles game.
okay, yeah. Well, then that solves that equation on your side. The other thing to throw out here, and people don't think about this enough, is that you're gonna there's chalk and then there's hype in football, and the hype,
Right.
what I call, comes from DraftKings pricing, right? So we started right off with Jordan Love, 4,400. Jordan Love on FanDuel is not as strong of a play, so he's 6,000
No,
there. You,
six. Yeah.
yeah, you got Herbert for 7,600. That's not that much of a difference. So I kind
Right.
of look at it and say, hey, on DK where Lamar is 300 more than Herbert, yeah,
Mhm.
I'm gonna go Lamar. Plus, my God, if he rushes for 100 yards, you get that bonus potentially. Um, and then on FanDuel, I got Herbert for 700 less than Lamar. It's Herbert, so you got to kind of look at that and just use that as a tiebreaker a lot. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's kind of those two, meaning Love and then Lamar. I don't expect Allen, even though the ownership projections are pumping him up. I don't think that by the time we get to Sunday, they'll be there. Who
I
else?
agree.
Who else are you hearing that you think might be popular, and or what do you think would be popular to you? Or
I I think there's going to be two of people out there
okay,
on DraftKings at least at 5,800. And I mean, I really thought there were going to be two people out there before the Jordan Love thing came about. I think there'll be less now, but I mean, everybody's talking about this game, and then I think that there's going to be some Jalen Hurts love, but not as much as the other guys that we've talked about. Um, yeah, just because 6,700 he's dropped down. The Chargers, like I said, I think the script leads to Hurts getting some garbage time, but I don't think he's popular as Love, Lamar, Allen, and Tua. I think those are the four that are the most popular from what
So
I see.
yeah, so just the way you're talking through it and kind of looking at projections, and I'm looking at the model here now. I know the ownership projections; these usually do change quite a bit from Thursday to Sunday,
Sure.
and that's pulled mostly from various sources that are publishing them, and also the odds and the projections. But do you dare go to Mahomes, considering how poorly he's playing?
I don't know. I, mm, I think he's a great. I know you love this. I think he's a great pivot in tournaments because I don't think
He
anybody's
is.
going to play him.
Yeah, he
Nobody's
is.
going to play him. So I like that because I think you can attack that game by going. You can go Mahomes, Tyreek, and then you can come back with um, Aaron Jones and Devonta Adams because I don't think there's a negative correlation between Jones and Adams because we've seen multiple times that they can both um, there's enough in that offense for them both to be productive. And the way Jones has been running and receiving, and then obviously Devontae being Devontae, I think that there's a path to a really good number there. And there's a lot of value, so I think you can afford attacking the game that way. Because the chalk approach of that game, like we talked about last, oh my God, Jonathan Taylor just broke one. Fuck. What was I saying? Oh, like I was talking about last week with obviously it didn't work out with that Titans game because Henry got hurt, but
Hmm.
the Titans Colts game. But there are two ways to approach that game. There was the way that everybody else is going, and then you can go the opposite way. I think with Packers Chiefs, I think more people are gonna build around Love, Jones, Adams, and then come back with Tyreek and Kelsey. If you go the Mahomes route, you're getting off the Jordan Love hurt a little bit. And, who knows? Jordan Love could suck. He could be absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
We've really got nothing to go off of. I mean, you and I know who he is because, we watch college football, but that was years ago. And it's totally different now. So, I mean,
Do you think he's gonna
uh,
suck?
I don't think he's going to suck, but I don't know if he's like, I would have loved to see him priced like closer to Tua,
Yeah, yeah,
because I
yeah.
think people would still play him, and then I think less people would play Tua, and then that would make me lean over to Tua a little bit more, because then you'd be getting the guy that's playing just as bad defense, but that's been out there. Who knows what the hell Jordan Love can get out there and see, be like a deer in headlights. You really don't know how these guys are going to react until they get out there, and he's on the road in Kansas City in one of the better, home environments in the league. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. I'm with you. I don't think it's a great spot, but they're going to get a lot of possessions in this game just based on the way
For sure.
The Chiefs refuse to run the football. I'm sorry,
Which is it's idiotic,
dude,
and they
we
don't check
talked about this
down.
for a year now. Like, yeah. I mean, you
I don't know.
basically you come out and you play zone against the Chiefs. You double down on Kelsey and you dare them to run, and they refuse to fucking do it. And Mahomes needs to get sat down and needs to get told, "Hey, look, you're not at Texas Tech anymore. That you can't just go out and be better than anybody else on the field. Teams are scheming. They're smart and they're baiting him, and he's playing shitty. He's playing horrible. Period.
Yeah, he
So
doesn't look like he just doesn't look comfortable back there. I think
yeah,
the O line is trouble,
I think the
obviously, but
coaching's trouble, dude.
yeah, I mean, yeah,
I think
I don't know.
coaching's holding him
It's
back a little
it's
bit. Yeah.
it's a mess.
All right, so jump into a couple of these games.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go through. So the first one up on the list here is good old 28-3 Falcons. 28-3
Hmm.
weeks celebration. I gave away $283 last night to my man Chuck, who won NBA. He said he hadn't played NBA in over a year. He read Fantasy Bum's article and he won the tournament. That's fucking awesome. So we got hockey tomorrow, which then I looked at when I set up tonight. I'm like, damn, it's only 5 games tomorrow. I probably should have done it for Saturday, but then the big one on Sunday. But Falcons, Saints, and I'll just tell you right off the bat, I think everyone has the Saints 100% wrong in this game. It's not guaranteed, number one, that Taysom is going to start. I should throw the word start out because it doesn't really matter. It's not 100% guaranteed that Taysom's going to come in and play the quarterback like he did last year when Breeze got hurt. I'll give you a couple reasons why. Number one, he's coming off a concussion, okay? And when Breeze got hurt last year and they went to Taysom, they knew that was a temporary thing. They knew this is going to be for 3 to 4 weeks, and then Breeze is coming back. In this scenario, what they got is what they got, and they have to know this is going to be like it for the rest of the year. So there's no rush to just roll out the next guy, which would be Taysom, and let Simeon remain as that in-game backup role immediately right now. And the guy's coming off concussion. He hasn't practiced in 3 weeks. He hasn't practiced quarterback for a full game since the preseason as well. And in this case, Simeon, he played decent enough, and Simeon was in the system last year. In fact, Simeon was signed when Breeze got hurt last year. So he understands the play calls and whatnot enough to trust him. And kind of by going with Taysom, or by going with Simeon at QB1 and not starting Taysom, it allows you to have him in that joker role. Now, the flip side of that is, if they do that, Ian Book will be active on Sunday as your backup quarterback.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and they like him, but he's still not ready yet. So that's the first thing on Taysom. And if Taysom does end up getting the start, I don't think you're going to see him running a ton either because of the concussion factor. And because, hey, let's not risk him taking that hit just yet.
But isn't that like their approach with him? Isn't it like RPO based? Like if he's
a lot of it, yeah.
Then why the fuck would he be out there in the first place?
Well, you have the threat of it. I mean, you basically have the RPO threat that he could do that. Taysom has 2 things that have been evident that I was hoping he would improve on with more time practicing as quarterback, because he didn't really practice as quarterback until this offseason.
Right.
Since he's been in the NFL. What the fuck are the Jets doing?
I don't know. Well, Mike White got hurt, so they just ran a double reverse card.
It looked weird.
Nice. Just like they drew it up.
He doesn't throw the deep ball very well, and it's a timing thing. It's not the arm. It's timing. He is always a half a second or a second late on throwing the ball, and it's one thing that Winston was fantastic at, was the deep ball. So they lose the consistency in that deep ball, and believe it or not, he's not very good at scrambling. His pocket awareness is not good, and I think a lot of that comes with playing time. So, at any rate, the Taysom thing, he's priced up a little bit. He's more than Jordan Love. I was curious if he was going to be chalked before the Jordan Love thing. That's one thing. The other thing in this game that I think people are getting wrong is Alvin Kamara. And they're seeing Atlanta and they're like, oh, Kamara's just going to come out and smash them. If you're the Saints, how do you not give the ball to Mark Ingram this game? This is why you got him. You can dominate the Atlanta defensive line with your offensive line. Turn around, give the ball to Ingram, get the game over with, move on to next week. That's my take on this spot here. But one last thing, then I'll shut up. Adam Troutman is about to go off. The Winston injury kills Deontay Harris, boost Adam Troutman. Everyone was all on Troutman in the preseason and wondering. They've got Nick Van Nett back out there. You saw Garrett Griffin was playing active last week. You're going to have more 2 tight end sets. Troutman's going to be involved more in the passing game. And quite frankly, with no Michael Thomas now, he's going to have to be a more utilized guy in the passing game. So I'm buying into him this week on DK. Other than that, I mean, being a Saints fan, I'll probably have a Mark Ingram lineup. There's not much else I'm running with here. It's a good spot for Callaway. I just don't know that they're going to throw it enough. And I don't know what the fuck Atlanta's going to do on offense.
So I don't think.
I'll shut up.
From what I see, no, you're good. From what I see, I don't think anyone's going to play Kamara.
As of Monday, like when you first,
yeah, I mean, as of like when I did my analysis on Tuesday and yesterday, like, just it doesn't add up to, with all the other people that are going to get a lot of, ownership. It just doesn't. There's like no path to getting Kamara in, and having being popular.
Yeah, so, I you're probably right. I think he's going to be one of those guys who people are touting, but he winds up not getting played.
He might be my highest owned running back in tournaments.
Ooh, I would not.
Just because
I wouldn't do
I don't think anyone's going to play him. I don't know. I don't think anyone will. You don't think it's a strong move just because if you have Simeon, say what you said is, and we'll touch on this and then we'll move on to the next game.
If Simeon starts, yeah.
If Simeon's in there for the majority of the time, wouldn't you think that he'd be looking to get the ball to Kamara?
Well, that would be a pretty smart move, yes.
Right. I mean, wouldn't that make the most sense? And wouldn't you think that Sean Payton would say, hey, get the ball in his hands as often as possible? Not necessarily running the ball, but, lined up in the slot or out wide or wherever, just because now that you have Ingram back there, they have to respect Ingram running the ball too.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think it's a calculated play, personally, that no one's going to use, and it's the Falcons' defense.
Yeah, that's
leaves
valid.
A lot to be desired.
That is valid. I think it's a really low scoring game. I think it's like 20 to 6. And Ingram and Troutman are my guys that are going to score. Ingram has a little narrative. If he gets, I think, 60 yards, he becomes the all-time leading rusher in Saints history. And I figure they want to get him that at home, and doing it against Atlanta would probably be pretty cool for him. The Atlanta side, with no Calvin Ridley, the Saints are going to come right out and they're going to put Jenkins on Kyle Pitts and double team him. If he lines up wide, they'll put Lattimore on him. And Atlanta's going to have to do a lot of gimmicky stuff. Cordarrelle Patterson might get the ball 50 times if they have 50 plays. Mm-hmm. I just don't see how Atlanta's going to score unless the Saints are just not tackling. That's my one thing. I have a running back who I think is lower owned than Kamara that's going to beat him. So that's why I'm not pushing that. The next spot is on paper a blowout. Buffalo at Jacksonville, a road 14-point favorite. And it sounded like today that Mr. James Robinson did not practice for Jacksonville, which is pretty bad for them.
Yeah, it's a heel. I think it's a pain. I think it's a pain from what I read. It's a pain management thing. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he's limited tomorrow and plays Sunday as long as it's a pain management thing. But at the same time, why even bother?
Yeah,
just give him a week off.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't know. Do you like this game at all?
No, I don't. And I think a lot of people are like Buffalo. And look, if you go Buffalo, you go all in on Buffalo, right? You go Allen, Beasley, Sanders, right? And take the value receivers.
Diggs.
I'm saying, Diggs is fine. I was saying if you're going 2 receivers, you're probably going to want to go with the 2 cheaper guys. That's all.
So I would think if you do go Buffalo, I think you go Diggs, Beasley, Allen, because you want the middle of the field, and then without Dawson Knox, Beasley's getting a lot of attention in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, I don't hate the idea of Beasley. He's a pretty good value at 5,400. He was 4,900 last week, which was egregious. But I'm overall this game, I'm not really gonna touch any of it.
Me neither. We can jump forward then. I mean, it's pretty obvious on that one. Although I wouldn't be surprised if Jacksonville lets Lawrence if they just say, screw it, dude, go throw the ball 35 times. Let's see what you got. And he winds up with a good statistical day, but he probably throws two pickles in that scenario.
Easily.
Yeah.
Because
Bill's defense is in
Yeah, it's
consideration.
good,
Yeah.
and he's a turnover machine.
Yep. Browns and Bengals on paper, it looks kind of yucky here on the model for some of the statistics, but I think a lot of that is the good old Browns and their style, and of course no OBJ. What do you
Hmm.
what do you think of this game?
I like I like players in this game standalone, but I don't like it from like a stacking purpose. I like Higgins' value, and I like Chubb at 6,700. That's a pretty good price for him. I mean, he still had 17 touches last week in his first game back. Um, I wouldn't be surprised to see him get closer to 20. It's a good total in this game, and I think Chubb gets a lot of work here. I could see him getting in the low 20s in touches, so I think 6,700 is a nice price there. Not a big fan of mixing this week at that 7,100 price. I don't know if it's conducive to rostering him like I have been all year, but I don't know. Again, this game I'm not in love with it. I think it's a really slow, drag 'em out game. I like the value of Higgins and Chubb. That's pretty much it for me.
I love this game, and our guy
Okay.
Laser Lee likes the Bengals. He said, but I love this
Hmm.
game, and I liked it before the Beckham drama. You got Cleveland, who really needs to show up. And I'll give you a comparison game if you want to go back into your memory bank on a game that historically the Browns went into Tennessee last year without Beckham, if I recall.
Yeah.
And I think they dropped like a 50 burger on Tennessee. And I see the exact same thing happening here. I think we know the Cincinnati defense is not good. We've known that forever.
Right.
It kind of got forgotten a little bit because the offense has been playing better. Therefore, the defense isn't getting shred apart as much. Um, but I believe in Cleveland. And I believe in Baker coming out this week and just dropping his nuts and saying, "Screw you, Odell!" Right?
Yeah.
And Peoples Jones is a guy I've always been on from his Michigan days. I was like, why can't this guy get the ball more? And then I realized, oh yeah, it's Michigan. It's Harbaugh. Um,
Mm.
and God, who's the quarterback? Shea Patterson.
Shea Patterson. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so, but I like DPJ. I think Landry's in a great spot to catch 6 or 7 balls if they decide to finally throw it. I do like the Chubb
Landry is nice. That's right. 5,100.
51.
He's
Yeah,
priced well.
he,
That's
he, he
nice.
had 8
That's nice.
targets last game, and
Yeah. I just think Baker sucks, dude. I can't trust anything he does.
that's fine. But
I
he's playing a bad team though.
I know, but I think Stefanski knows it too that he kind of sucks.
Good offensive line, playing a bad defense. Who's their
Give
safeties?
give the ball to Chubb.
Their safeties are good, but Baker should be able to get the ball out quick, get it into the hands of Landry. If they want to go vertical down the sidelines, go to DPJ. Yes, Chubb could be the killer. I see points in the game. The Bengals, I think, are going to spread it out though. They're kind of getting tough. I mean, if you want to go Jamar Chase, nobody will ever argue with you. Higgins and Boyd are the value. I agree with you though. It's not Mixon. I think it would be the passing game.
Yeah.
And we were kind of talking about guys that get forgotten about this week. Burrow might get forgotten about a little bit, but I like Cleveland to win. I do like Cleveland to win, but I don't. It's probably not a game that I'll touch. But if you just told me to pick a team, I would take Cleveland. I would take the 2.5 points and take Cleveland in there. But ultimately, quarterback, there's a ton of options at quarterback. So yeah, I'm probably not going to go Baker, but I would want DPJ or Landry, and Peoples Jones may end up making his way onto my main lineup, believe it or not,
Wow.
on DraftKings. 4,400.
Yeah. 4,400. Yeah, that's good.
Really like it.
There's a lot of value at receiver. There's a ton.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
that's that's why I think like you don't need the priced up guys at receiver. That's why I don't know if you need like the Jordan Love value, for example. Again, to go back to what we were saying, there's a ton of receiver value
all right.
in great
So
spots.
so to that point, then you can pay up at running back, and I think one of those guys has got to be Mr. Ezekiel Elliott
Yeah,
against Denver.
yep. I like Zeke in that game, and like I was just saying about value receivers, I like Jerry Judy on the Denver side a ton. 5,000. Dallas gets eaten up in the middle of the field. That's where he's going to be operating. And no Noah Fant, so they need to fill the void in the middle of the field even more so now. But yeah, I agree with Zeke. I like the Zeke play a ton. 7K, it's nice.
Yeah, the only problem with the Judy thing, I don't know that I don't trust Teddy here.
Yeah, I know, but if you're gonna look, if Teddy's gonna look anywhere, it's not gonna be outside the numbers. So it's gonna be more towards the middle and the intermediate area. And Judy at 5K, it's like, oof, that's so cheap.
So
And I'd want to say like Cortland Sutton at 5,900, but I don't know. I mean,
well, yeah, so Sutton had
sees a lot of digs.
he will, but Diggs is kind of boomer bust too. He tends to give up. He's one of those guys
Yeah.
who's living off the brand of, okay, I'm a Cowboy and I've got an interception every game and national TV, but he gets burnt, you know,
Yeah, he does.
at times as well. I've resigned myself to the fact that I've gotten the Denver receivers wrong all season. I will continue to get them wrong. So I'm like, if I've got other options, I'm going to look elsewhere. They're great talent. If Teddy can finally be on one game, they should, have good games. So I'm not going to disagree with you on any of that. But I'm with you on Zeke. I think it's Zeke. And the Pollard thing, yes, Pollard will get the ball. Pollard will be involved, but it still is a 2-to-1 ratio of Zeke to Pollard. So
Yeah.
just take the fact that he's going to vulture a little bit here and there and trust that Zeke gets it. I don't know that Zeke has the Dak injury to me. I think helps the running game. When Zeke explodes, it's when he does it in the passing game. And so that's something I'm going to look into a little bit more on this, is how Denver's done against backs out of the backfield, catching the ball. Off the top of my head, I can't think that any teams have torn him up, but that's when Zeke tends to really have his big games, is when he can catch a bunch of balls, which are usually when they're trailing as well. I don't like any of the Dallas receivers. Schultz, 4,800.
The only one I would think about is Cooper, 5,700. But
Yeah, wasn't Lamb questionable today, I want to say? Or
he
limited
looks
in
okay. I didn't
practice?
see probably limited.
Okay.
Might just be a maintenance day though. I don't know if he's hurt or anything.
Yeah. All right. The Giants are hosting good old Mr. Ruggs, gone from the team, thank God. But I did not know Dylan Stoner was active on the Raiders. I mean, if the Raiders were playing like Iowa State, I'd be all over.
Iowa State, yeah, Oklahoma State Cowboys, yeah. There you go.
Yeah,
That's nice.
I mean, we've got the Raiders have the all like cheap value college football receiver lineup with Hunter Renfrow. You got Clemson, you got South Carolina, you got Oklahoma State. Where did Zay Jones go to school? Oh, fuck, where did he go to school?
I can't remember.
I feel like I should know that one. I'm gonna look it up while we talk it through. But
I
God,
don't know.
the
It'll
Giants
come
look
to
like trash. What do you like here?
I don't know. It's whew. Renfro is nice, 4,800, middle of the field, gets a lot of targets. Even with Ruggs there, he was getting a lot of looks. I'm just trying to figure out when, like, the Darren Waller, like, what's going on? That guy is gonna play? He's questionable. I know.
I'm under the impression that he will play.
Waller?
I'm under the impression he will play,
I mean,
but I don't like that the Giants basically just saw. I mean, they just saw Kelsey, so they can just be like, we'll do the same thing to Waller. Maybe the Raiders adjust off that, but
well, I mean, what I'm thinking is Waller hasn't had a big game in like
he's been quiet
since week one.
Yeah, well, he was hurt. They had the bye.
Yeah.
That
I mean,
you're
like,
very true.
It's coming at some point, and I don't know. I mean, the Giants. It's a tough game for me to pinpoint. I can't really, the Raiders coming west to east, 1 o'clock. I hate that.
Yep.
I don't know. Jones, always interesting. He's cheap, 5,600, and he's still running and moving the ball. I don't know. I think this game's a lot of garbage.
I
I
do
don't
too.
know.
I agree.
I don't know if there's anything I'm gonna run to roster in this game.
The Giants, and without Barkley as well, like it's just not there. It's not happening with this
No,
team.
nothing's jumping out at me.
No, you're deep enough into the season now where it's like if you don't see the potential from a team in any game at any point, don't bite on it. I could see Josh Jacobs having a really productive day, but the Giants were getting gashed against the Chiefs. Now that was partially their scheme on defense, but they've also gotten gashed on the ground by a good amount of teams this season through running back. So I think Jacobs, running back is fairly deep this week. I think he's a very solid play. I like Jacobs more than I like Kamara this week.
Okay, that's a take.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Josh Jacobs guy in general, but
Okay.
that's
Zay Jones went to East Carolina. Neither of us were going to pull that.
there you go.
Neither of us were going to pull that.
No, it's not what I was thinking.
Michael Carter, on the other hand, went to North Carolina and is having
Yes, he
himself. He's breaking out finally. Your move, Javonte Williams. So,
Yeah, seriously.
Minnesota at Baltimore. We hit up on Lamar. So, you like Lamar passing?
I like Lamar a ton. I like this game a lot. I like the Viking side. I like Kirky because I think that you can throw in Baltimore. He's cheap. You can stack. You can go Kirk, Jefferson, Thielen, and then you can run it back with Hollywood Brown. I think it's a close game, but I think Minnesota is playing from behind for the majority of this game. So I think Cousins is going to have to throw, and he has been pretty solid, when he's had to throw the ball. And I just think, what is it, 6,200? Yeah, 6,200. I just think it's too cheap for a game that I think could be, if not the highest, one of the highest scoring games on the slate.
So I like I love Marquise Brown. He should just run right around the Minnesota secondary. And
He's another one of those value receivers. He's 6K.
Yeah, and the thing with Lamar is you want him for the rushing upside. I think he's going to do it both rushing and passing. But give me all the Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
100% Dalvin Cook. 3 touchdowns. You got Cousins coming off a primetime game when he didn't play well. The formula is for Zimmer in that scenario. After that, you go on the road against a tough opponent. You ride Dalvin Cook. And he's the guy that I was talking about compared to the Kamara. Nobody's going to have Dalvin Cook, in my opinion.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. Maybe, we'll get closer to the weekend. Maybe that is wrong. But, dude, people are going to play Zeke over him? I think
and Eckler, too.
Eckler, Aaron Jones. There's a couple running backs at the 4 o'clock window in the Arizona-San Francisco game. But I don't think anybody's going to play him. And regardless of if they play him, he could be 30% owned, and I would still lock him in because I like him that much this week. That said, my model loves Tyler Conklin because tight ends against Baltimore suddenly got a boost. But good God, you can't pay him.
He's 3K. I mean,
I know.
Like,
I know.
Just take it. Like,
no, I don't want to take it. No.
Oh man, what else is there? I mean, there's Albert O too, 2,600. He's gonna be popular for Denver.
Yeah,
tight end spot is Jesus Christ. Dan Arnold, 3,400.
Fuck no. Adam Troutman. Thank you. Have a nice day.
No.
I love Dalvin. Christian McCaffrey is supposedly back for Carolina. I don't see how Carolina could be stupid enough to just be like, oh, well, let's give him the ball 30 times. But then again, Joe Brady was calling the worst quarterback run for Sam Darnold last week, and he got destroyed. I'm like, what was that? You're inside the 7. Like, dude, that was week 1, week 2, week 3, Brady. You can't keep doing that. Give the ball to Chuba.
Great.
But Chuba's played well. Chuba's played really well, and if you're Carolina, you got to do what Dallas is doing, right? Do a 2-to-1 ratio or something. Don't send Chuba, packing as an RB2 who never touches the ball here. But dude, I'm sick of I don't touch New England games anymore. It's just
I'm not. I have
pointless.
no interest in anything in this game. I'm not touching anything.
Defense?
Nope, nothing. 4,100 for New England defense, nothing.
Well, that makes my
And Carolina defense. The only thing would be Carolina's defense. You can consider it just as a cheap value, but
yeah.
The game in general, I just think it's garbage.
All right, that's a pretty simple one to dissect. Chargers and Eagles. We kind of talked about this one a little bit earlier. So let's finalize.
Yeah, why don't you start here? You were saying about how you like Herbert. Do you like the game in general, or do you just like Herbert as a quarterback option in like a main line of play?
I think the game is as advertised, and it's advertised as a good game, and I think it will be as advertised in that sense that it winds up being pretty well. I don't understand why the Chargers aren't heavier favorites. Maybe it's because of how they looked last week, and they're on the road. So I just think Mike Williams, big physical receiver, has that's beaten up Philly historically, and I expect Keenan Allen to draw a fair amount of Darius Slay, and plus Slay on Allen would be a better matchup than Slay moving over to Williams or Jalen Guyton here, even though I know Keenan does move to the slot. Mike Williams is the guy who's expensive, yes, but should have over 100 yards receiving. He'll catch a big one. Tight ends have done very well against Philly. Jared Cook,
Yes.
Another big guy who can give them trouble. And I just look, Herbert, I'm not going to overreact to the fact that he had the bad game before the bye, the bad game after the bye. I still think he's a solid quarterback in a really good system, and it's a great bounce back spot for them. So I believe in him. I believe in Williams. I liked him at the beginning of the season. I'm going to stick with it here. They paid off for a while. So I think they'll get there. Philly, people need to realize that Devontae Smith he's not what people think he is this year. And I'm not saying he's a bad receiver. I'm just saying we remember what he did at Alabama last year. You see what Jamar Chase is doing, and you're like, okay, Devonta Smith, yeah, he's a great receiver. I'm getting him for dirt cheap. It's just not happening. It's not happening. So,
it's also ineffective quarterback play, though.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I'm not saying it's him.
Yeah.
So it'll bite me one of these weeks. Him at 5,200, it'll bite me, but I'm okay. I'm okay with not touching anything on the Eagles side.
I'm totally. Yeah, I agree totally. The problem with this game for me is the Eagles side. Like, you don't know which running back they're going to use. You don't know if you can trust Hurts. You don't know. They talk about that Hurts might get benched at some point. You don't know which receiver he's going to throw to.
For
the only
who?
thing that is
Greg Ward.
For,
Are they going to put Greg Ward at quarterback?
What's his name? Minshew. That's all they're talking about the last 3 weeks. Yeah, no, they've been talking about it for like 3 weeks.
It's not going to happen.
And it's outrageous. I agree, but did you think that Boston Scott and Jordan Howard were going to get all the bulk of the carries last week and not Gainwell? I mean, you don't know what the hell these guys are doing. So the only thing you can trust with the Eagles, in my opinion, is Goddard. But I don't know if I want to pay for him at 4,500. When there's high-end tight end in Waller, if I want to go that route, or if you want to just go with the value guys. So, but I like the Charger side. I agree with everything you said, like about Mike Williams giving them trouble. I think Eckler's popular, and I like Herbert. I'm right there with you with Herbert. Maybe not as much as you like him, but I could see everything you're saying making total sense.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd have a run back on Philly. I guess you could go Goddard, or maybe I talk myself into Smith. But Smith kind of has the Chargers secondary is good enough there. So, it's mostly Herbert to Williams, and I'm not going to play Cook, but I could see Cook doing well enough to help Mr. Herbert out. So,
Yeah.
And then the other 4 o'clock game, we already beat the Packer game to death, is another
Hmm.
one with an injured quarterback and Kyler Murray with the ankle. Cardinals Niners. George Kittle is going to play
Yeah.
for San Francisco.
Yeah.
I like
I
the
like.
Niners.
Mm, I like especially if Kyler doesn't play. I like the Niners D. But I like Elijah Mitchell 5,800. That's nice. And I agree with Kittle. I think Kittle's a nice spot there.
Did you
What do
hear?
you
Did you
go ahead?
hear Kingsbury come out and say, "I'm not worried about Murray not practicing. He doesn't need to practice."
I
I
didn't hear him
like.
say that,
I'm like,
but
dude, bullshit. Bullshit. I don't
I don't
care
know,
who
man.
you are. You need to go through practice. A quarterback? It,
We'll see
it-
about tomorrow. Like, I mean, these guys they go through a walkthrough. It's fucking, I don't know.
I don't.
I
I
don't
don't.
know.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I know Hopkins has destroyed the Niners historically,
Yeah,
and he should.
but that's another guy that doesn't practice. Like, if he doesn't have to, like,
True. I know. I feel like a quarterback
but
needs
you think the quarterback?
quarterback
I get
needs
your
to
point.
practice. Yeah, Hopkins is one of these guys that on paper is what's laser say? All my sources this is report tell me it's 90% Hopkins doesn't play and Kyler is 60% to be out. Interesting. From our old friends at Sirius XM, Mr. Fabiano.
Huh?
Yeah, I mean I like the Niners in the game overall. I'm just gonna go off on paper. Hopkins getting Josh Norman is not a fair matchup.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I think he got San Francisco earlier this year. He had like I think he had 90 yards and a touchdown or something like that.
he's
I
yeah,
remember.
get it right here. He had 9 targets, 20
Where is
fantasy
it?
points, and that was like a 19-10 game. It was low
Where was
scoring.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah, Cardinals won. It was 17-10. Yeah, he had nine targets, 6 for 87 and a touchdown. That's what it was. Okay.
yeah. So I like the Niners overall, but DFS wise, it's another. I mean, Debo's too expensive. Sorry,
Yeah, he's too. Yeah.
you'd have to tell me that they're going to come out and throw it 35 times. I mean, it's a classic example of a guy who looks great on TV because he makes big plays. He's got all the statistics, but it's a
You
potentially
can't
trap
chase
spot.
those big plays.
Uh,
Yeah,
well, he does it every week though.
I understand, but to your point, when he was what is he now? He's 7,800 this week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
when he was 65, 7,100, even 7,300, you're like, all right, I'll keep going here. But now we're getting to it's getting a little ridiculous, especially when they don't throw the ball 30 times ever. But I
agreed.
do like Mitchell. Mitchell at 5,800. It's clear that Shanahan is committing to him, and it's clear that he hates Trey Sermon. I don't know what that's all about, but yeah, Mitchell's had 18 carries each of the last 2 weeks. He's gone over 100 yards both times against the Colts and the Bears, and he's had a touchdown each of the last two games. So I think that's a nice RB2 spot.
All right, do you have? Give me your top two. Laserly wants us to give us out a. He's asked for top two spread picks this week. I'll go the Chargers for sure. I will lay the points on the road, which might seem a little dicey given the 1.5. I was going to say Dolphins, but with Tyrod Taylor starting, I can definitely see Houston keeping that one close enough.
Hmm.
And then I guess
Yep.
second one most confident, just looking across the board here on these, the Saints 6.5. I could easily see that being a backdoor cover for Atlanta. 10's too much for me, even with Dallas there. So I will go. I'll take the 6 points with the Vikings. I'll take another road team, Vikings +6
Hmm.
to cover in Baltimore.
Yep. I like that's I was gonna say Minnesota, and I like the Texans also, but just to get off of the to get away from being on the same games, I like the Giants to cover as home underdogs, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants win. To be perfectly honest with you,
Oh, okay. I'm looking at them.
yeah.
I'm trying to see here from a a tease perspective, you could definitely, I think, tease the total on that Cardinal Niner game up to, take the
Hmm.
under 51, and then
Yeah.
add 6 points on the San Francisco side. Because I think the Niners do either win or keep it close, and that's going to be a low scoring game there.
Right.
It's hard to do that with the Saints Falcons. 42 is already pretty low. You'd have to tease it up pretty high, but my God, is that really
I,
42?
yeah. I wanna like Dallas giving 10, but I just think it's too high.
That's way too much. That's way too much for
Yeah.
Dallas.
It's just
No,
it's too high.
yeah. Even though I don't like Teddy a ton there,
Yeah.
you kind of we outlined it. They've got enough weapons that I think that they can keep pace with the Cowboys if Dallas is on, and it's probably a ground and pound scenario off
I
that, but we'll see.
I do like the Sunday night game. I know we're not talking about it right now because it's not in the main slate, but I like Pittsburgh -6.5. I mean, at home against a banged up Bears team with a terrible offense. I mean, you don't think Pittsburgh can win by a touchdown?
That's the Monday night game, right?
I'm sorry, the Monday night game.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
they
Pittsburgh winning by a
should.
touchdown at home against the Bears. I mean,
Oh, come on, Pittman. They
oh,
should. They
catch
should.
that.
I know. Pittsburgh's just not good, man.
Neither are the Bears.
That's true.
That game
Touche.
could be that game could be. I could see that game literally being a 17-10 game.
It's gonna be Najee Harris left, Najee Harris right. Has to be.
Yeah,
They should
yeah.
just run the ball the entire game. Now, I thought you were going to talk about the Titans Rams game, and I don't know
Well, that's
where.
the other thing. I don't know how they don't kill them. The Rams seven and
Oh,
a half
oh, I, I'm, I,
without Derrick Henry. Why
yeah,
you like the Titans in that game?
I think this is the sneaky spot of the week. Yes,
Damn, that's a hot take, really.
there's something about that game that is. I Here's the thing, Ramsey. I know that he's done well. First of all, I'm assuming Julio plays because if he doesn't play, then yeah.
You can never assume that.
Well, hey, some
You can never. I don't know.
yeah. My bold call is that Julio plays.
Okay.
The thing here is Ramsey does well against DK Metcalf, or he's known for it, right? Another big physical receiver, and he'll get AJ Brown.
Yep.
But the middle, the linebackers on the Rams, I know they got a couple of young guys that are playing well, but I just think you historically kill the Rams, or you attack the Rams, I should say, by dumping off to your running back. And you add in that drawing up attention because that's what they're going to do. They're not going to run the ball. They're just going to dump it off to whichever back they have lined up out there. And
Hmm.
it's going to open up the middle of the field, I think, for Julio. And because Ramsey's going to be occupied with AJ Brown. I just think that this is a scenario where the Rams are going to be like, well, wait a minute. Everything we have on tape with them is Henry. We don't know what we're going to get. And the Titans are going to surprise them on offense. Now, on the flip side, I don't know how Tennessee stops Cooper Kupp. So,
Yeah. Like I don't know how Tennessee stops anything.
no, but strap it
And
on. I think I think we got ourselves a 42-35 type game.
damn.
Yeah.
All right. Well, fair enough. Oh, that was a touchdown for Pittman. So
Yeah. That's that's iffy. There was a play last week. DJ Moore had a touchdown that got called back because he caught
mm,
it, got 2 feet down, and then didn't complete the process through the end zone. And someone
yeah.
else last week lost a touchdown for me that was iffy, but I don't know if these replays anymore. So
Yeah, I mean, you never know. I mean, but he took like 3 or 4 steps, Pittman, in the ball. It's almost like he was like, all right, I scored. Let me go back to the sidelines, and then just knocked the ball out of his hand. I don't
yeah,
know. That's what it seemed like to me.
yep. All right. Well, hopefully there's no like massive chaotic news tomorrow. I mean, pretty much of all the games that Charger Philly won is the only one that hasn't had any breaking news with
I
it,
know.
right? So
Yeah.
hopefully the stadium doesn't blow up or something. I don't know.
I think we're gonna find out a lot tomorrow about some of these guys that are questionable.
Yeah,
I
we
feel
should.
like I feel like they've been coming out and saying on Fridays a lot more often that guys are going to play or not going to play. So I think that's like tomorrow could be a day where we hear about Hopkins and Murray and not wait until Sunday morning to hear about it.
Agreed.
At
Agreed.
least that's what I'm
And
hoping because I hate building lineups Saturday night and these guys are like out. It's come Sunday morning at 11:30 and you're like sitting like at the bar on an iPad scrambling.
yeah, usually my take is if they don't practice Friday, they're not going to play. So I rule them out, and then my if I don't have them exposure to them or think they're going to do anything, then if they get ruled out, it doesn't bother me after that. So we'll
Right.
see. Hopefully nothing else comes off bad. But yeah, I got to figure out my core ultimately. I mean, the quarterback's going to be tough for me, but it'll definitely be Dalvin Cook. Um,
Yeah.
pairing Herbert, Cook, and Williams will be tricky because of the price, but we'll go through it and take
Yeah. I don't know.
take some gambles on some cheap guys this week. I think.
You might be talking me into Cook, as far as like a main lineup goes, like a cash lineup goes. But I don't know. I'm still gonna look at more of this Kamara in tournament thing because if you do like if you go Kamara and your other running back is someone like Mitchell or one of the guys that's priced down a little bit, I think you can fill a nice lineup in there. And you're saying about Cordell Patterson, you think he's gonna be heavily involved, but is that a play that um, the Falcons can exploit against New Orleans' defense, or do you think that's just a bad matchup overall? Because
It
he's 6,300, and if he's heavily involved, I mean, receiving and running the ball, I mean, there's
he
major upside there, no?
he could actually have an okay game running the ball. The thing with Patterson is, um, I just I think he's going to have to catch a bunch of quick screen passes. The Saints against the Falcons, like the last four matchups, I want to say, they've averaged something close to 6 sacks per game against Matt Ryan and the Falcons offensive line. So he
Hmm.
cannot drop back and air it out. And I could just see a bunch of quick get it out of his hands, get it into Patterson's hands. And with his big body, all it takes is the Saints miss him one or two tackles. And you look up and it's like, oh, he's got 40 yards rushing. He's got 60 yards receiving off 6 or 7 catches. And you're like, oh, well, he's got a decent day. Um,
Yeah.
and if they get down there on one drive, and he's probably the most likely guy to score a touchdown for them. So that's the only thing. I think that um, he could kind of
I don't
work
know if
it.
he's a tournament winning play. I don't know if he's a
No, no,
tournament
yeah,
winning play.
probably not. No, not at all. I was just
So
talking through the game of like, I'm like, he would be the only reason why you would be upset with playing the Saints defense. Let's
yeah,
put it that way. And like I said,
I'm just
they kill Ryan. They kill Matt Ryan, and their defensive
right.
line is healthy right now. So they'll be my number one defense. I mean,
Mm,
I'm going to play them, but he's the one guy
yeah,
that I think could do work. I mean, otherwise it's garbage. Now, Lattimore usually kind of falls asleep against garbage and rises up against better players, but
will they move him to the slot
no,
to if Pitts is there? No.
no, no. If
So
Pitt,
so that's all Williams.
no, you know who guard Pitts? If he's in the
Uh,
slot, his former teammate Chauncey Gardner Johnson.
John C. Gardner Johnson.
Yes, to
That's nice.
Florida on Florida. So Pitts ain't doing shits.
Yeah,
Pitts Saints, if they don't lock down Kyle Pitts, then shame on them.
yeah,
Shame on them. Yeah, because they got Chauncey, and they'll put Malcolm Jenkins on him a good amount. And I know Jenkins can get beat at times, but he's had a very
yeah.
good season. And you've got, I'm sorry, you got a scenario where who else are you guarding on Atlanta? I
Right.
mean,
That's what I mean. You could have two guys focused on him,
Yeah, they're going to say, hey,
But then that
if they want to drop back and throw bombs downfield to Gage or Zacchaeus, Ryan's going to get crushed. They're going to crush him.
those guys are useless, man. Russell Gage, fuck.
Yeah, well, we gave up a touchdown to Justin Ross, so or not Justin Ross. Help me out, Ross for Giants.
Oh, John Ross.
John Ross, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Not Justin.
Yeah.
Oh, Clemson guy. So
yeah. All right. Well,
all right, man. We hammered it. We hammered it.
All right.
All right, bud. Good luck this week.
Later. Yeah,
See
you
you.
too.